You join us here in France at the Circuit Paul Ricard for an exciting free practice, hopefully setting the mood for the rest of the weekend. Beside me to take you through free practice today is a man with 3 decades of racing experience under his belt. It is, of course, Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us today, Anton. Tell me, where should we be focusing our attention today?
I think we need to be looking across the entire field to see how far these cars are able to push a single set of tyres. While everyone will be trying different setups and running with different fuel loads, if you're attentive enough, you can definitely pick out trends for each type of tyre compound, which will give us a rough idea of how long the drivers are able to stay out there during a stint in the race.
What's up YouTube land, Zeno Gaming, back with episode number 28 of my F1 2019 career mode. Here today we're going to be driving around Circuit Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix, coming off our top 5 finish around Montreal, so finally got some points on the board and next to our name. And I don't know if you saw that as I was scrolling through the menus here, but we do have a wet qualifying. It's going to be similar to how Baku qualifying was. We got new engine components this week as the first 7 races are done, so we can, and then, as you can see, also developments have also come to the car for this race, so we should be on for a good result once again here at France. The car is improving, it seems, every week, and yeah, it's been good so far to have that, see the improvement we have. Ferrari also look like they've made some improvements, but as you can see on the graph there, Renault are also trying to catch back up to the pack. Red Bull still have quite a performance advantage at the minute, and Max Verstappen has won the last 2 races because of that. So we'll move on to qualifying. This is the start, as you can see, very wet. Not wet enough though for the full wet tyre, just wet enough for the intermediate tyres, and still nonetheless slippery conditions, and I'm not the quickest driver in the wet, and this is our first run now, our first lap in Q1, and as we come through the fast right-hander, I was thinking about going through it flat, and I just got oversteer on the exit the corner and lost it completely, a big lose, and luckily with the way Paul Ricard is designed, that we can come out no damage, and I've got enough fuel in the car to do another run. That was quite unfortunate, because it was not a bad lap actually, I thought, for a first lap in qualifying, but yeah, obviously I didn't know what the limits were going through the fast right-hander at the end of the Mistral straight, so yeah, that was quite unfortunate. And now this is the second lap in Q1 on the same tyres, same run. We have a big lose through the corner there, and now we're coming to the final corner, and we'll see what kind of time we can set. It's not going to be too competitive, as yeah, we don't improve position, so we're still last of the current drivers, which is unfortunate. But for the end of Q1, it actually dried out significantly, quite quickly. It's a bit of a gripe I have with this game. I'll just quickly explain. That would never obviously happen in real life. I don't think at the track. It might dry enough for dry tyres, but like if there would be a dry line like that. You can see like you can use all the track here. It's fully dry, but there's no dry line, if you know what I mean. Like if you in real life, it would be kind of, if you stepped off the racing line, the dry line, you would be on the wet stuff still. But that's just how it is in Codemasters F1 games. Anyway, come across the line for our final run, and it's gonna be, where have we finished? Did we get through the Q2? Yes, we have. P15. We just, by the skin of our teeth, get through to Q2. So we do just a good enough job here at the end of Q1 to squeak through into Q2. I was struggling compared to the rest of the field in Sector 3, and you can see that Giovinazzi in 12th place, so both the cars through to Q2. But once again, Valtteri Bottas, for the second consecutive race, is out in Q1. Can you believe it? And Lucas Weber qualifying last. Didn't say the dry time. Albon in 19th. Grosjean through to Q2, so he was even quicker than me, so great job by Romain Grosjean. But also our Devon Butler and Lance Stroll. But it's 2 races in a row for Valtteri Bottas. It's not going to be good for him, and he's really falling quite far back in the championship. In this race will not help him starting so far back. Also for Lucas Weber, who has been very quick this year, starting at the back will not help him. So here's our first run in Q2, and I had a set of mediums and I decided to just use them. We were slower than Leclerc, who was also on a set of mediums, so that was kind of just to get another feel for the track, what the grip was like on these medium tyres at least. And yeah, just get the eye in before we go for our fast lap on the soft tyre, which you'll see now as we come here. We'll show you this lap in full, and come into turn 1, find the apex early, cut that corner a little bit, bit cheeky, as we now come into turn 3 and 4, braking as late as you dare, trying to get it in early, using the curbs here as much as you can. Now for this little tight turn 5, and the exit off turn 6 here is very important for the run down the straight. Open the corner up easily flat. Now open the DRS, looking for just before the 50 meter board, just after the 100 meter board, for the start of the curb to find your braking point. We do there, get the car turned in, hit the curb. Now once again trying to get the power down as quickly as possible for the run down the Mistral straight. And in the wet, this right hander was very tricky. We spun here before. In the dry it's easy flat, and now looking to see how brave you can go into this right hander. I love this corner here because you can absolutely chuck the car in, get it steady for the exit and put the power down, and now into this long left hander that really can catch you out. Important to get the power down once again, and now through these last corners, which I once again enjoy the challenge of getting this car hooked in right, get it down and stop for this last corner. Very tight hairpin, much more acute than you'd think on entry. As you come now across the line, what's the lap time going to be? It's not going to be good enough for Q3. It is position number 13, so we qualify 13th for the French Grand Prix. However, our teammate Antonio Giovinazzi is through to Q3, so well done by him to get through. Out here is Kevin Magnussen, Lando Norris, myself, Romain Grosjean and Nico Hulkenberg, I believe. Can't actually quite tell, but I believe it is Hulkenberg. So they are all out in this session, and yeah, we'll have to see what we can do for the race from 13th on the grid. We got the strategy quite open now, with being able to select what tire we start on. But yeah, we'll just see how the race goes, and without further ado, we'll move on to the race, and we'll see how the grid lines up.
Welcome to Le Castellet as we return from across the Atlantic for the 2019 French Grand Prix. Reintroduced to the Formula One calendar just last year after an absence of almost 3 decades. The Circuit Paul Ricard, where racing legends such as Alain Prost gave us some turn 1 excitement before Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel and a commanding victory from Lewis Hamilton gave us a brilliant race last year. What, I wonder, will it have in store for us this season? 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral straight at around 205 miles per hour. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Pierre Gasly, and Kvyat, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Perez, and Daniel Ricciardo, Magnussen, Norris, the captain, and Hulkenberg, Grosjean, Butler, Lance Stroll, and Valtteri Bottas. Albon and Lucas Weber completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
So, welcome to the French Grand Prix, everybody, at Circuit Paul Ricard. Here we have a one-stop strategy. We're going to go from the soft tyre, I believe, to the medium. Yep, there we go. Change that there. And, yeah, so that's the strategy for us today. It's going to be interesting with the grid lineup. The two Red Bulls, 3rd and 5th, so they'll be looking to get out in front. Leclerc on pole, which was quite surprising. Bottas and Weber are going to have to work their way through this pack from 18th and 20th on the grid. We'll see how far they can get up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this race for myself. Even though the pace hasn't been quite that sharp through the weekend, I am looking for a good result here. I do believe points are possible with our teammate being in the top 10. I believe we have better race pace than we do qualifying pace, as always, compared to the AI. So we'll see how it goes in the race. I think I've got a pretty good strategy. A one-stop strategy should be the quickest round here. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes, and hopefully we have a good result on the table and we'll get another points finish. So here we go. Revs are rise as the lights are on, and they are out here for the French Grand Prix. Good start by us. We get past immediately Lando Norris, and now we're looking at the back of Magnussen. Can we have a look into turn 1? Norris on the outside. We're going to look, we're going to squeeze Norris. We're going around the outside of Magnussen. Now we've got the inside for turn 2, and we get it done. There's 3 wide here between the two Williams and our teammate. Magnussen's looking at us again. What is Ricciardo going to do? He's going to drop back, and can we go around the outside? There's a gap there. He leaves it. We go a bit wide. He leaves us the space, kindly enough, and now we're on the outside of Ricciardo, and we're going to look around the outside. Can we get it done on traction? We can. That's a great move there, making 2 positions up here on the first lap. Now we're behind our teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, and he's going to just tow us along the straight. We're not close enough to the back of Giovinazzi to make a move into the chicane at turn 7, or turn 8, sorry. And can we now make him? No, we're too far back with it, and Daniel Ricciardo's not having a look either. So good start here on this opening lap by us, and it's good for Toro Rosso. We're now 10th place, and Giovinazzi 9th, I believe. That's where he started. Maybe I think he maybe started 8th actually. And but either way, good start for us, moving up to 3 places actually. So yeah, really good start off the line. That's where it all happened, and we're able to make the move on Magnussen and round the outside of 1 into 2, and once again on Ricciardo into turn 3, 4 and 5. So that's really helps, because it's less cars to overtaking the next following laps or being held up by. So we'll see what we can do on our teammate Giovinazzi here, as we actually have closed up to him to end this lap. You can see Gasly up ahead. He's lost a few places off the line as Charles Leclerc leads the first lap, and he's got quite a gap over Lewis Hamilton behind. So now we've got a really good tow here, however, on Giovinazzi, and he's going to defend here into turn 1. And wow, Jeff is interrupting at the worst time, as now we're going to have a look at Giovinazzi once again, and he's going to defend once again into turn 3. So we're all over the back of our teammate. We look a little bit quicker at this stage of the Grand Prix. He might have out-qualified us, but he might not have the race pace on us. So now what can we do about him down this long straight? We're right tucked up behind his rear wing, and we're going to have a really good slipstream and run on the way down to the turn 8 chicane on the Mistral straight here. We pull out alongside. He's squeezing us as much as he can, but now you can see we got the run. We're squeezing him back towards the outside of the track, and we brake. He brakes us, outbrakes us a little bit, but we're going to squeeze him to the apex and drive clean around the outside of him. It's a good move to get past Giovinazzi, move into 9th place. We're now moving on to lap 6 here. We've pulled away from our teammate by a couple of seconds, but we haven't caught the guys ahead. That's Gasly ahead. He's been overtaken by Perez in the last 5 laps at some point, or 4 laps. And yeah, but we've kind of just sitting in our own bubble. I was really... Thanks, Jeff, for that update. And yeah, the tyres are going away, but we're still sitting reasonable laps. I felt like I was closing on this group ahead, but not by a lot. But I was feeling really good about the race at this point. Slight lock up there on the front left. I feel like I was in a good rhythm, just pulling away from the cars behind, maintain that gap ahead. I know I'm on the 1 stop, so not losing too much time to guys that possibly could be 2 stopping. And as I come around here, you can see guys behind starting to pit. Now, you can see here, I'm not shifting up into 7th gear here, and I had no idea what was going on. Yep, and I shifted down. I didn't know what was going on. I could not shift up. It shifts up there, but I'm spamming my paddle shift on my gearbox, and it's just not shifting up. I'm wasting a lot of fuel. I'm hurting the engine, and I didn't know what was going on. There was something. I knew the gearbox, it was a fresh gearbox. We only replaced that at Monaco, so I didn't think it was a gearbox issue. I paused the game to see what it was. That didn't work, that quick pause. I'm just stuck in second gear here, and eventually I just had to unplugged my steering wheel and plugged it back in, and unfortunately that's what I had to do. Eventually I unplugged it, but yeah, and I sometimes have issues there with double shifting. The first few laps after I did that wasn't great. Here we come, lap 8. I'm pitting on this lap, made a mistake coming into the pit lane, but I think I lost about 10 to 15 seconds from not being able to upshift. That was the total lost time, so that really cost me in this Grand Prix. Bit of a shame really for something like that stupid that happened. Hasn't happened since I recorded this, I believe, on Thursday afternoon, and this is now commentating on this on Sunday evening, and yeah, it's okay now. That hasn't happened since, but I'm not sure why that was the reason that the wheel did that, but yeah, really an unfortunate situation to occur. We now move to lap 14. We're now set in mediums. We're actually behind Lando, the two McLarens here, and we're having to now try and make a bit of a recovery drive. We're sitting in 17th at the minute, so, but yeah, behind, oh sorry, not the two McLarens, it's Butler and Stroll. It looked like Stroll's dot was orange in the little preview box. That's my fault there, but yeah, behind Norris and Stroll, and yeah, we'll just have to stick with these guys and try and get past, because we have caught about 5-6 seconds on them since coming out from our pit stop. That's how far we were behind, but we've managed to close that gap a little bit, so that's a positive. And now we'll just, as we have the steering wheel kind of working back to normal, hopefully that doesn't happen again. That was a bit worrying. And anyway, now can we make a move on Norris here into turn 15? Not quite. I believe it's turn 15 here at France. But yeah, now what can we do about it into turn 1? Norris, we've got a great run in here. There's Lewis Hamilton coming out the pit lane for a medium set of tyres. He's 2 stopping in this Grand Prix. Norris goes defensive than 1, holds onto the position. What can we do about him now? We're going to have a run here on him into turn 3 possibly. He's going to go defensive again, so we're going to look to the outside. He covers our line. We don't have enough braking performance to go around the outside there, so we're going to just wait for the DRS here, as Hamilton's having a cheeky look up the inside, as I like that wide line to try and get the run as good as possible for the straight here. We're going to have DRS here, overtake mode. Hamilton's right behind us on the, he's fresh out of mediums. Ours are about 7-8 laps old, so we're going to go down the inside, and literally I know Hamilton's going down the outside of Lando. No, so we're 3 wide here. Hamilton and Norris turned in because of Hamilton on the outside. I gained the position on both of them there. Norris actually spun, not sure who he spun off. He contacted me. We've broken the front wing. Now we've got Hamilton in the slipstream of us, and I'm not going to bother defending this. Hamilton's going to go. I tried a little bit, but he was already there, and now he's through by the looks of it. And will Hamilton outbrake us here? Yes, he does. So we'll let Hamilton go. We're not fighting him today, unfortunately, especially now that we've got a broken front wing. It's not too bad, probably losing a couple of tenths a lap, but we're definitely losing time to Stroll. And now Sebastian Vettel, who also is 2 stopping, is behind us, and he's going to breeze past us down the straight here. No contest really, and yeah, we'll just have to live to fight another day when it comes to that. We're still hanging on to 9th though, and we've still got a chance to score points. We're going to the end of this race. Our tyres obviously have done a few laps, but you know, Raikkonen's the one behind. He's the one we're going to try and hold on to points here today. So we'll see what we can do. And yeah, it's not looking good at the moment with now 7 laps to go. Raikkonen's right behind us. We held him off in the last lap, but now coming this time round, he's much closer. And look at the run he's going to get here. He's going to open the DRS. He's already right behind the ring. We go to the inside. He pulls to the outside. Kimi Raikkonen pulling up alongside the outside. Yeah, and he's already passed before the braking zone. So we go back to the racing line, and that's a bit, yeah, that's a bit annoying that he's already done that move. So now no chance of holding on to 9th, but we're still in the points. We're still 10th place, and we still got a chance to score this 1 point. Ricciardo's behind. He's about 3 or 4 seconds behind, 5 seconds behind. I'm not quite sure. Can't see the gaps here. As we move on to lap 23 with the damage we're carrying, he is already caught up. So it is really quite frustrating for us. And yeah, now we've got a double teamed here by the two Williams cars, and we go up into Ricciardo, and we've gone into his side pod with the less downforce we had, and we've broken the front wing even more. We've lost the rear wing on the exit. Sergio Perez goes through. That's really has not worked out in our favour, and yeah, really unfortunate. And and I was just checking the track map here at France, and yeah, the last corner is turn 15, just from my knowledge. And at turn 3, though, Valtteri Bottas is now attacking us, coming up the inside here. We've dropped back to 12th, so we're out of the points here. There's not much really left to... yeah, it's really just all for pride here at this point, and we've got a Mercedes who Bottas has done really poorly. He's on the 2-stop as well, I'd say, to not get up into the points. Probably should have 1-stop. He's actually on the hard time. Maybe he has 1-stop, but he's only running... Thanks, Jeff. He's only running in 12th place at this point, so he hasn't really clawed his way back into the points. So disappointing for Mercedes for him, as now our teammate Giovinazzi is attacking us here into the last corner. That's how much front wing we're losing there, over a couple of seconds a lap. The front wing is absolutely horrible. I didn't want to pit because I thought I would lose less time doing it this way, which I did lose less time. As now also the Renault of Albon's coming around the outside. Giovinazzi's had a really poor race, considering he started inside the top 10, so not sure. He did 2-stop, but yeah, poor race from him. And anyway, Albon around our outside now. We can't defend with the broken front wing. We're kind of just a sitting duck here, and we break it even more, losing the traction on the rear end. So another poor Grand Prix, as now Devon Butler, who's having a poor race as well, goes through, and now we're getting attacked by Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas behind, and we're going to see if we can do anything here about these guys. We're going to have a look up the inside of Albon, actually, into the chicane. We just about avoid making contact. I can't fully turn in because Hülkenberg's there. I didn't know whereabouts he was, but now can we get a run on Alexander Albon? This is all for pride. Can we beat Alexander Albon? As we're going to have a look, are we into the fast right-hander? Hülkenberg's looking at us, so we close that off. At least we're able to defend from Nico. Can we have a look here on Albon? We're not close enough. And the front wing is... Look how much he's pulling away from us already. And now, next lap, we've got Hülkenberg behind us. This is all for pride. Can we hold on to Nico Hülkenberg? He's already pulled out alongside, and he's already ahead. As Max Verstappen has won the Grand Prix, and there goes actually Roman Grosjean as well through. And that was actually Grosjean behind. So I'm not sure how he got ahead of Hülkenberg so quickly. And now we fall to last place on track, which is really disappointing. But I want to just talk about how Max Verstappen has won his 3rd consecutive Grand Prix. Really played himself into the championship. Can we go down the inside of the both of them? We look, but we almost spin. That was almost trying to go 3 wide through the fast right-hander. We're 2 wides very close, and almost not ideal. So, yeah, really pushing the limits there of what we could get away with. But actually, we're not last on track. Lando Norris is last on track, who had that spin earlier in the race. So, 2nd last on track. I'm getting it all wrong, but yeah, well done to Max Verstappen. 3 race wins in a row. Absolutely on fire at the minute, and he's clawed his way back into this Drivers' Championship. You almost thought it was over for him after the way his season started, but he wins the Grand Prix today. Credit to him, and we come home to finish a dismal 18th place.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, That lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Some amazing talents out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I think it's got to be Lucas Weber. Time and time again, he proves that he's someone who can quietly get the job done, and that's exactly what he's done today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull pull further ahead in the standings. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So, the winner of this Grand Prix is Max Verstappen. He's dominated here today. But Lucas Weber has finished second. Now, that kind of proves that the one stop is much more valuable around this track. Firstly, which is the strategy we were on today. It would have probably worked out. Stroll, who finished ninth in the end, scored some points, and we were behind him. So we probably missed out on points today if we didn't break the front wing. But for Lucas Weber to finish second, he beat Pierre Gasly on the same amount of pit stops. Unbelievable drive, and Gasly, we know, is in the better car. Hamilton slips down to fourth. Leclerc, not having his best day either. So, and he had to retire early on. I actually missed that. I'm sorry about that. I just realised now that he's the one who did retire in this Grand Prix. It was quite an early retirement. And for the championship, you can see Max Verstappen has really clawed his way back. We stayed put without scoring any points today, but Lewis Hamilton maintains his lead in the championship. You can see now the gap between the two Red Bull drivers is very, very close indeed. So this championship is starting to hold up. Max Verstappen, 3 wins on the trot. He's really starting to have that momentum and charge towards the championship, taking that championship fight to Lewis Hamilton, who's looking to win the title for a 6th time. So, yeah. Ditto for Ferrari at the minute. Their championship isn't going as well they would hope. They did double last year with Leclerc, but this year it hasn't quite worked out for them, and they're falling quite far back in the development. And what I did notice while looking through development, Ferrari actually has the worst power unit on the F1 grid at the minute. Worse than the Red Bull one, worse than Toro Rosso, worse than the Renault engine, worse than McLaren's engine, worse than the Williams engine. Their engine is the worst, which was quite surprising. They obviously didn't consolidate parts last year at all, and it's cost them quite dearly in terms of engine performance.
I recommend we could go for something like this.
They do so well because their chassis and aerodynamics is top 2 in both, I believe, and the top 2, second they're in the chassis department. And aero, they're actually 3rd. Okay, top. So that's how they get all their performance at the minute. But they're going to have to desperately work on that engine, which was last year probably the best power unit on the grid. Now it's the worst. Oh, actually, they made an upgrade. So, but I honestly, before the Canadian Grand Prix, they did have the worst power unit on the grid. So they've obviously made an upgrade, and that's my bad for missing that. I didn't realise they had made that upgrade, but they did honestly have the worst power unit on the grid. But anyway. That's that little rant out the way. So on my race now, yeah, it was a bit disappointing. I had that weird thing with the steering wheel. I lost me 10 to 15 seconds. Probably cost us a chance at points. And then I probably still could have scored points if we didn't have that 3 wide moment. I honestly didn't realise Hamilton had got up on the outside of Norris. And Norris turned in before I even turned in. And I was on the curb, and he turned into my car, and there's not really much I could do about it. I probably had to back out, and I wasn't going to do that. That's just the last thing a racing driver tries to do. I'm not really a racing driver, but you know what I mean. That's not the racing driver mentality. But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Please leave your feedback down in the comment section below. Would really help me with these videos, and yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Like I said. And hopefully you guys leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you guys for the next race at Austria. I will have league race highlights that I did today from tonight. I'll try and post those tomorrow. So until then, I'll see you guys for the next video. Goodbye.